Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I just sold my house. Yeah, that went fast. 2 days. Actually, I got an offer in 24 hours after it went on the market, so that's pretty good. So I was packing up the greenhouse because I'm going to be taking the greenhouse along with me. And I was going through like all of my pots and trays and everything like that, and I thought I would go over some of my favorite pots that I've used over the years. So let's do that. Here are all the different sizes that I have. So I thought I'd go through what I've been using for all these years. All this stuff's going to get packed up because I'm not starting seeds this year. So by the way, this is Roxy. Say hi, Roxy. Hi, Roxy. How you doing? Yeah. So your standard 10-20 trays. That's what these are. 10 inches. Not 10 inches, but that's what they're called. 10-20 trays. Those are a must. Now this year, they're buried in the garage someplace. This year I bought some really sturdy ones because my big issue is they crack here when you're picking them up, especially if you have some heavier pots in there. And so I get these, which make everything more sturdy, and then you don't break your trays. So these go inside like so. And then when you pick them up, yeah, Roxy. Then when you pick them up, you don't have to worry about this lip breaking off. So these are a must, I think, if you're going to use the cheaper version of these. And this is where I get a lot of the stuff I buy. It says Greenhouse Megastore, and it's just greenhousemegastore.com. I'm not sponsored, so you don't have to worry about that. These are smaller trays. They're shorter. I use these for starting microgreens. They're only that tall. And then these ones have the drainage in them, so you can put one inside the other, put the drain one on top. And then I always like to put a little spacer in there, and then you can do bottom watering for your microgreens. Then I have two covers, the standard covers, that go over the seed trays, and I always cover my seed starts until like that, until they emerge, the seeds emerge. It's worth it for these to buy the little more expensive one. I don't think I've tried the Greenhouse Megastore ones, but I like the Johnny's ones. Let's see if I got any. These ones might be from Greenhouse Megastore. So I do like the ones from Johnny's Seed. They're really good. I have these bigger ones, more for protection than anything else. Here, they've got a dome on them, and these ones are vented, so you can open up the vents. Especially like for a while there, I was having mouse problems in my basement, and I'd put these on overnight, and that would prevent any critters from getting in there. Even if in your greenhouse, you have to worry about critters getting in. And so I use these as protection for critters. They're nice. I bought these from my local nursery. And then these trays. These 9-cell ones are really good for starting smaller things that don't have real deep roots, like lettuces, kale, spinach. If you're gonna, most of those you're gonna direct sow, but lettuces you'll probably do. Anything that just needs a little bit, that doesn't need a lot of soil, like a tomato plant needs a lot of soil, and pepper plants use a lot of soil. So that's what I use these for. These 6-packs, or 806s, I think they're called. These are great for starting like peppers and any of that kind of stuff. Peppers. You could start tomatoes in here too. Melons I start in here. Although these ones are really good for melons because their roots grow so fast. And melons, zucchini, pumpkins, any other kind of squash, I usually plant in here. And then I have these ones. These are all dirty. I always wash them in the spring. So these are a little deeper. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. See the difference here? And these I like to use mostly for tomatoes. I'll start tomatoes in here. And I'll usually do 2 seeds per cell. And that way it's a little bit deeper so the tomato roots can go down. You could also start, like put your dirt about here and start them. And then as they grow, fill it up with dirt. And that kind of gives them a really good root system. Then for transplanting, I don't ever use these for seed starting, but for transplanting, I've got these 3.5. Now these are 4-inch pots. So these are really good I use these for peppers to transplant a lot of times. If I'm growing flowers, I'll transplant them into here. Anything that just grows really fast, even like your lettuces and stuff like that, I'll use these. And then these ones are the same. They're 4-inch, but they're a lot taller. They're 6 inches tall. So these are really good for peppers, tomatoes, as they keep growing. Around here, currently I'm in zone 5. You can't get stuff out until Memorial Day weekend. So if I start my peppers and tomatoes in March, that's a long time for them to be in pots. And I usually end up transplanting them sometimes 2 times, depending how fast they're growing, before they get in the garden. And so they just grow really fast. This is what I usually use for my tomatoes. I only want one. These are 6 inches also. They almost look like trainers because they have the grooves on the sides. I like these for my tomatoes, but sometimes they're just not big enough. Like if you put them next to this, you can see this is just a little bit wider. It offers a more sturdy base, but I find that these work really well for tomatoes. And then I also bought the trays that they go into. These trays probably came from some nursery because I don't only have one of them. No, I have 1, 2, 3 of them. So I'm guessing they came from a nursery. These ones I bought from Greenhouse Megastore. They hold these little pots really well. So and then there's these ones. Now these trays, the round ones, I use for starting beans and peas and sweet corn. I don't know why I like those, but They're really nice. There's 38 holes in them. And they're just like the perfect size for those bigger seeds. And then the thing I like about them is they're wide enough where you really don't disturb the roots when you're transplanting them. Like since we can plant out in the garden around May 25th, I'll usually start these beginning of May. And then by the time you put them in the garden, you've got some nice transplants, and you're ahead of the game with especially sweet corn. It gets you your sweet corn sooner, and the peas and beans work really well in this too. And then this is a 50 cell tray, and that one I like to start my flowers in, because I can do 2 rows and I've got 10 flowers, and then so then you can have 5 different varieties in here. Sometimes what I'll do is for my marigolds, I'll do a different variety in each row, and then I kind of know how many varieties I have, and I'll plant like a whole tray of these of marigolds, and a whole tray of zinnias, and a whole tray of cosmos, and that's usually how many flowers I plant in the beginning of the summer. So yeah, those I really like for flowers. These for beans and peas, and corn. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got, like, if you look over here, I've got a lot of these pots. These ones I really like. These you get when you buy flowers. I like the colored ones. I usually give the purple ones to my friend Colleen. I must have missed those. So I really like those. Here's some more of those. Blue ones. A little bigger. These are 4-inch by 6-inch. 4-inch square, 6 inches high. Yeah, and then I have some miscellaneous trays that I've gotten over the years. Sorry, this is in the shade. These little ones are nice. Like, these would be really nice if you wanted to just pop a whole packet of like lettuce seed in there, or a whole packet of spinach seed, or whatever. And then you can transplant them. They're really nice. They have drainage holes. And then these are really nice too. These are really sturdy, by the way. And you could do the same thing. You do a whole row of one thing and a whole row of something else. They're really nice. The only problem is I don't have the flat tray for them that fits them really good. I don't know what this is. But this is another really sturdy tray. It's a little smaller. I like it because it's easier to carry around. Some of these get really heavy. That's what these are. So I should go look on their website. I got these from Greenhouse Megastore, and see what the trays are that fit these. And then there's these. These are all dirty. These are I almost said half a sheet pan. These are half of these 10-20 trays, so they're 10 by 10. And they're good if you're going to plant a whole mess of stuff. Like, you could do separate rows here, 4 rows of whatever. If you don't want to do the individual cell trays like those, you get the whole rows. So there you go. There's an overview of my favorite seed starting trays. Hopefully for those of you who are kind of wondering, that'll help you out a little bit. So in the greenhouse here, I dug up all my strawberries because I finally found strawberries that I really like, and I didn't want to leave them here. I spent last year propagating those strawberries from their runners, and So yeah, I dug up all my strawberries, split some of them, and potted them up. They actually look better even today than they did yesterday. So I don't have any down here. Yeah, I'm really happy with getting that done because I've been thinking about that for a long time. So that one is done. I wanted to bring those with me. So that's going to be it for this video. I don't know how I'm going to pack all those. I have no idea. Hopefully I can figure something out. I just went to U-Haul and bought a bunch of boxes, so we'll see. So as I try to move stuff here, I'm only going to move one more thing, and that's my rose bushes. I'll bring you along for that as well. When I did the strawberries, it was really windy out, so I didn't want to film anything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys have a great day. Let me know if you've started anything in your gardens. Those of you who are in zones 6 and 7 probably have yours planted. Maybe not completely planted, but you know, have some of the earlier things started. I know that the middle of the country is getting a lot of rain and tornadoes and stuff, and it's just awful. So for those of you in those paths, I hope that you're all well. So take care, everybody, and until next time, happy gardening. Bye-bye.